Nanna, who's this man? He looks so grumpy. And what does this say? In Donegal, the wind doesn't blow. It argues with you. What a silly thing. Granny Anne-Marie, she chuckles, her eyes crinkling at the corners. Ah, that's a perfect question. My little love. That's a story from a place called Donegal, way up on the wild, beautiful coast of Ireland. The man in the picture. That's a fella named Brendan Toland. And let me tell you, Brendan knew a thing or two about arguing with the wind. Mia leans closer, resting her chin on her hands. Granny Anne-Marie. Now Brendan was a man of routine. Every Friday, no matter what the weather was doing, he'd put on his cap and his wool coat and he'd walk the 2 miles down the lane to the village shop. He needed to get a bag of flour, just enough for his week's baking. But Brendan wasn't known for being a happy-go-lucky man. He was a bit of a grumbler, you see. He'd complain about the rain, he'd complain about the sun being too bright, but most of all, he complained about the wind. Granny Anne-Marie gestures to the image with her hand, as if bringing it to life. Granny Anne-Marie, in Donegal. The wind is a wild, untamed thing. It whistles through the hills, it roars over the cliffs, and it gets into everything. One Friday morning, Brendan was on his way to the shop, and the wind was having a particularly spirited day. It didn't just push at him, it seemed to have a mind of its own. It snatched at his cap, as if to say, "Where do you think you're going, old man?" It whipped at his coat, trying to turn him around and send him back home. Mia, did it knock him over? Granny Anne-Marie, not Brendan. He was as stubborn as a mountain goat. He kept his feet planted firmly on the ground, leaning into his walking stick. He grumbled under his breath, "Go on with ya, you big bully. Can't a man get his flour in peace?" But the wind wasn't listening. It howled louder, trying to snatch the very words from his mouth. It seemed to have its own opinion on everything. When Brendan tried to turn right, the wind pushed him left. When he tried to step over a puddle, the wind gave a great gust that splashed water all over his trousers. Mia giggles at the image. Granny Anne-Marie, he finally stopped. Right there in the middle of the lane, just like in your picture. He took a deep breath, and he yelled at the top of his voice, "I've had enough of your nonsense, you old tyrant. Just go on with you and leave me be." Granny Anne-Marie. A moment later, the wind seemed to die down a little, but only for a moment. Then, from around the bend in the lane, a young boy came running. It was young Liam, who lived in the cottage just down the road. He was holding a small brown paper bag. "Mr. Brendan," he called out, "my mother saw you leaving and said she knew you'd be needing some flour. The weather's too wild for you to be out." Granny Anne-Marie smiles, a gentle, knowing look on her face. Granny Anne-Marie, Brendan, the grumpy old man who complained about everything, was suddenly silent. He looked at the boy and the bag of flour, and then back at the wind, which was now just a soft whisper in his ear. He realized the wind wasn't arguing with him, not really. It was challenging him, yes, and testing his spirit, but it was also a part of his life, a part of the land. It was his own grumbling that was the real argument. Mia. So the wind was his friend, not a bully. Granny Anne-Marie. She pats Mia's hand. It wasn't exactly his friend, but it was a part of him. The people of Donegal are as strong as the wind that blows across their land. They don't just put up with it. They stand tall against it, and they know that the very thing that challenges you is what makes you tough. And sometimes the challenges of life, like like a gust of wind, are what show you the kindness of others. If Brendan hadn't been struggling against the wind, his neighbor wouldn't have known to send him a bag of flour. Mia's nose twitches as a new, delicious scent wafts from the kitchen. Nanna, what do you cook there again? It smells so good. Granny. Anne-Marie. Oh, my little love, that's an Irish breakfast. A proper one, just for us. It's what we have after a long, rainy morning. Mia, eyes wide with curiosity, I can smell mushrooms, bacon, and beans. What else is there? Granny Anne-Marie, wiping her hands on her apron with a loving smile, that's the best part. It's a whole plate of special things. The bacon is for a good, hearty start to the day. The mushrooms are like little earthy pillows, and the beans are there for a bit of sweetness to balance it all out. But then you've got the sausages, plump and juicy. And the most important bits are the black and white puddings. They look a bit funny, but they're full of flavor and are a real taste of home. We'll have a fried egg, golden and runny, and of course, some lovely toast to soak up all the deliciousness. It's a whole meal of warmth and comfort, all cooked up, to fill you with happy energy for the day. Mia, so the wind was helping him? Granny Anne-Marie, in a strange way, yes. It was a perfect, wild day that brought out the best in his neighbor. So you see, the saying isn't really about the weather. It's about the spirit of the people and the land. They meet every challenge head-on, and they never, ever give up. Now, what's the next story hidden in this book? Let's turn the page and see what other secrets are waiting for us. A trip to Ireland in a box of crayons. Join Granny Anne-Marie and her granddaughter Mia for a magical journey through the green hills of Ireland with this delightful coloring book.